Dragons are back on top. Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at the new Boral Rokket support and how it works in tandem with Dragon Link. So let's quickly go over Dragon Link and Boral/Rokket. First and foremost, we're playing 48 cards. The reason for this is because we're playing a lot of cards we specifically search and we do not want to draw, and we have a lot of starters and extenders. So it's pretty easy for us to play over 40 while also still having a lot of those power cards and having access to them. That being said, it is still fairly similar to old Dragon Link, just with a new coat of paint. We're still more or less doing the same thing, just adding in an additional Link 5 or something of that nature for our end board. However, it's still fairly interesting in what it can do. Let's start off with the Rockets here. We're playing a few additional pieces of Rokket support. We're playing Magna Rokket as well as Silver Rokket, which are not normally, or weren't normally in the deck. These are just additional bodies for us to utilize in the combo. We're also playing a 3 Rokket Tracer, obviously, and then the 1 Rokket Recharger. We're also playing a 2 Rokket Loader. You could play 3. That is obviously an option, and it's still very good, but it's not 100% necessary to play 3. Tracer is similar in nature to Loader, so it basically does the same thing. And for the most part, it's not as useful drawing multiple of it, and there's a bunch of different ways to get to it anyway, so there's that. As for the other Rockets, we are playing 1 Detonator. Oh, by the way, sorry, discards effect on summon, searches a level 7 Dark Dragon, and can banish to search or change the attribute to a dark. Make sense? Cool. Detonator is the card. This is not the card you would search. Most of the time, you would be searching Absorrouter to summon it and then search an additional Rokket when it's sent to grave. Detonator is the other new Rokket that we're playing, which says if you control a Dark Dragon Link monster, you can special summon it from hand, and you can target a Dark Dragon monster card in grave to special summon it. Or sorry, not in grave, in Spell Trap card zone. This is used in tandem with the new Fusion Fatal Flare, which can target a dark monster you control and equip it with a Link monster from grave or banishment in order for you to gain 500, which again, with the Detonator, allows you to reborn that, basically reborn the Link monster. Very useful for getting those additional bodies onto your field for an additional Link 5 play, or just Link play in general. That's it for the new Rockets, at least the monsters. We are also playing the new Double Interlock, which is the fusion spell. It requires you to banish a Rokket from grave, or, and the other materials, right? So you utilize it to banish a Link monster and a Rokket monster to summon the Fatal Flare. As for the other card, we are playing the Boral Reboot as well, which is a counter spell trap negate. And you just have to have a Rokket Boral, and you can activate it from hand by paying half your life points. It's pretty useful. The problem with it is that it sets the card face down, as opposed to destroying it or sending it to the graveyard or something of that nature. So they can still utilize it later. It's kind of an issue, but for the most part, meh. Also, they can't use it that turn, but it's still kind of an issue. We're also still playing the 3 Quick Launch and the 1 Boot Sector, and that's it for the Rockets. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing a bunch of Chaos support, the Wyver Bursters, the Safeards, a bunch of Bestials as well. We're playing a large package of Bestials. We're also playing a few additional targets for the Loader, that being Destrudo as well as Noctivision. However, on top of that, Destrudo and the Absorrouter are good targets for Dragon's Ravine, which means that your Bestials and other such Chaos support can be utilized in tandem with the Romulus to search out Dragon Ravine and go from there. We're also playing at Chaos Space and an additional target in Levianeer for that, and that is pretty much it for the deck. The rest of the cards are just hand traps, things like Maxi, Ash Blossom, Fua, Nib, as well as Called By, and then we are also playing Regained. As for the extra deck, this is where things kind of get interesting. Again, for the most part, it's pretty similar. We're still playing Borreload, Savage Dragon, Dispotter as our synchros. We're also playing Pisty, Striker Dragon, Seal, Romulus, Delirious, we'll talk about it in a second, Quad Boral, SP, and Boral End, and then the rest are fairly new when it comes to Dragon Link. Fatal Flare we already talked about. Breach Boral allows you to search out the Boral Reboot and has an additional effect to special summon a Rokket if you target a Rokket and it pops itself. It also can boost a Dark Monster, which is Nice. It's a quick effect boost. Cool. Triss Boral on summon searches out Rapid Trigger, Heavy Interlock, or Double Interlock, which are the fusion and ritual spells. On top of that, it has another effect where it can target a Dark Dragon monster, or sorry, targets a face-up card and a Dark Dragon monster in the grave, destroying the face-up card on the field and adding back that Dark Dragon, which is useful in tandem with things like Rokket Recharger. It's a similar effect that Striker Dragon has. We also have Boral Sword and Shroud. Boral Shroud can't be tributed. On top of that, during the main phase, it can negate by targeting a rocket and destroying it, and your opponent can't respond, so it just negates a face-up card. Very useful, similar to what the... I can't think of it. The level 9 Dark Dragon Synchro monster that you would utilize in... with the previous build. Can't think of it. You would target a card and negate it. Anyway, similar to how that one worked. However, it has another effect where at the start of the battle phase, it would special summon a Link 4 or lower Boral Link monster from the extra. That's the reason we're playing the Boral Sword, because then you can put out a ton of damage. And generally speaking, if you have an additional body, you should be able to OTK pretty much through anything, which is pretty nice. Not through anything, but almost anything, which is, again, pretty nice. And because of the way that Boral Shroud works, it allows you to kind of play through nib. You make this, if there's enough bodies, they like nib the field, and then you make the Boral Sword anyway, and attack hopefully for lethal. Kind of depends. But for the most part, that's it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. All right, here we are going first, and I'm going to showcase what this deck has the ability to do. We're going to start off here with the Rokket Loader and immediately meet Shifter and realize we cannot do anything. Yeah, Shifter is just kind of a one-card stop button. It's by far the worst card for us, so we're not even going to play the game. We're just going to sit on this Nibiru and pass the turn. Even going for Striker Dragon doesn't make sense since we already have the Boot Sector launch. Not going to do that. It's, well, kind of sucks, but yeah, here's Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul Raisin is going to add to the hand the Mad Love. They're going to normal summon Mad Love, add up the field spell, go for the field spell. Field spell effect is going to target the Mad Love to grab the Holy Sue. Holy Sue effect is going to activate, revealing Caesar. Okay, if that was the level 5, the Xiaolong, we would kind of be in trouble because they could make Ripper there and then turn off the Nibiru. Doesn't look like that's what happened. They're going to actually special summon here, utilizing both of those effects, and I go, oh, no, that's not allowed. Then they reveal the Yazana, and I go, tragic. Had they not had an Earth, their entire field goes away. They do, it's unaffected, that's fine. Nonetheless, I'm going to summon the Nibiru, and I'm stupid and did my math wrong. Nonetheless, I'm still not supposed to summon the Nibiru token in attack position here, but I thought it would be lower than 32, so oops, should have just put it in defense position. That's just straight up a mistake. Doesn't matter. They go for the Yazana, and they banish Lupus, which is huge for me. I think they just genuinely forgot about the Shifter. So, there's that. They also still somehow went Raisin to go for the Link one, I think to add it back, but then obviously they can't do that because Shifter. They forgot Shifter twice. Good card. Anyway, that's fine. We have the ability to play the game. Let's see what we can do here. So out comes Druiswarm. Are you kidding me? Okay, cool. Doesn't matter. We still have to play the game. I am fearful of Nibiru. I Nibiru'd them, but still, I'm fearful of Nibiru. Pretty much everyone is playing it. So, of course, I'm going to go for the Seal first here. And this allows me to utilize Druiswarm and Absorrouter to get the Caesar Valius off of the field, which means that if they draw into something like Heavy Borger, or if they draw into the necessary attributes, they can't just use it to nuke the field. So, at the very least, obviously I have to play into the Maxi here. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to go for the Rokket Tracer. They're going to Ash that short, okay. Out comes Striker Dragon. We are going to utilize no Striker Dragon effects because we're going to instead special summon off of the already used Boot Sector. This allows us to go for the Rokket Loader to grab a Noctivision, since we already used the Absorrouter. Out comes Pisty, and we're going to special summon out the Noctivision, and out, Holy Sue, Xiaolong. Okay, well, that's not great for me. It's fine. They're going to activate the Xiaolong, they're going to activate the Holy Sue, revealing a Fire and a Dark to special summon it from the deck. The Mad Love. Oh, okay. I'm almost 1000% certain that they have the Raisin in hand, because guess what? Holy Sue only special summons from deck. They've already banished one. The other one's likely in hand, so they do not have access to the Raisin, hence why the Mad Love. Not that big of a deal. Out comes the Pisty. Pisty is going to bring back the Guy, and then we're going to go into Delirious. We're going to, from here, activate the activate Noctivision, draw a card, go into Triss Boral. Activate the effect of the Triss Boral to add double interlock, and activate the double interlock into Ghost Bell. Yeah, hate to see it. That's fine, because we could still go for the Levianeer. I'm going to shuffle away one of their cards because it's funny, and I'm not realistically going to be able to deck them out. They still have 20 cards, it's just not feasible. Anyway, it's fine. We go for the Boral End. Boral End is a powerhouse in and of itself. My opponent is attempting to switch the Nibiru sideways. Can't allow that. So, instead, we are going to negate, they can't respond, and bring back a guy. Bring back the loader. I'm also on like 10 seconds here. If you're wondering why I'm making a misplay, it's likely due to the fact that this deck takes a lot of thought, and so I'm on 10 seconds. Not only that, but my opponent is also likely very low on time, because there's just not enough time in the game. The amount of timeouts I've seen is astounding. Like, every match went to time against any competent deck. It's crazy. Yummy, Vanquish Soul, etc. Anyway, they elect to protect their Xiaolong as opposed to protecting anything else, but we luckily have the ability to walk over the entire field with Boral End and just pass the turn. It's not great, but Boral End is a powerhouse. I'm hoping and praying that it sticks. God damn it. Immediately it's gone. Yeah, here's Dogoran. Yeah, not a whole lot that I can do about this. My opponent's going to go for the Canine play, to go for the Canine Ripper. They also have the Quick Play. They set a whole bunch of cards, and I realize here they are very low on time, just like me, right? I have like 20 seconds, but they're also probably very low on time as well. So I'm going to go for the Hieratic Seal to bounce the Ripper here, and also bring back the Magnema. Magnema is going to grab Lubellion. I'm like, okay, we're looking pretty good here. I'm feeling good. And then I draw a second Lubellion. Are you kidding me? It's fine. We go for Lubellion. They have an Ash. Sure. I think we knew that, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because I mostly wanted to use it for the ability to bring itself back. They reveal two different attributes. That's right, 2, which doesn't do the nuke. And I'm like, oh, hip hip hooray. So they reveal 2, burn me for a bunch of damage, go for the Raisin. I'm like, no. And they have Called By. I don't know why we didn't Called By the Lubellion. That seems really stupid of me, but sure. Either way, they add the Xiaolong, but now we get to go for the Branded Regained, which is pretty solid. They're going to go and activate the effect of Raisin, revealing the Xiaolong, so that they don't, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. We're going to go for the Quad Boral to bring back our 2 Rockets in grave, which triggers the Loader and the Delirious. So we're going to go for the Loader here. We're going to search out the Detonator. Awesome. We're going to go into the Borreload Savage Dragon here. Borreload Savage Dragon is going to be big off of the Boral End, which is great. Then we get to go for the Detonator. Detonator brings back the Boral End, and at this point, the game is packed up. To be fair, they're not... They're probably dead, just with the bodies on field. But Boral End notably is negated, so it's not like I can walk over the field there. But it was a time limit win. It wasn't a surrender. I mean, again, to be fair, we were kind of playing for that win condition. However, we still had the ability to push for lethal there. There was a lot of different ways that we could push for lethal, and overall, I think we did have a way to kind of kill them there. Through Maxi. You'll love to see it. Through Shifter and Maxi, by the way. Alrighty, here we are once again going first, and this duel is going to showcase what this deck can do through specifically Droll. So, first and foremost, we're going to go for the Rocket Tracer. We're going to pop the Absoraptor here in order to get the 2 searches off of Loader and Absoraptor. This is a particularly lucky hand, specifically to play into Droll, which I've already mentioned, but we are going to add the Recharger here, since we already have the Loader and the Tracer, which seems pretty good. Out comes the Noctivision, and I'm like, sure. Okay, let's showcase what this deck can do through Droll. Obviously, my hand is kind of high roll. We drew both both Destrudo and Noctivision, but for the most part, I wanted to just showcase that this deck does have plays through Droll. There's a lot that you can do. Yes, searching cards is very important in this deck, but just ending on Boral End oftentimes is enough. It's a very, very powerful card, so try to make Boral End. As many bodies as you can put on the field, do that. Okay, out comes Destrudo. We're going to target this, make it specifically a 3, which gives me access to Dispotter. Yeah, we have a 10, so we can make Dispotter here. Now we're going to use the Striker Dragon to add back the Rocket Loader. The reason for this is actually for Rocket Recharger. Rocket Recharger effect is going to activate to bring back itself, which is great. Now we can go into Pisty from this position. And then from here, I actually make Delirious, which technically... Oh, sorry, I make Quad Boral. The reason for this, obviously, is to get those bodies into grave. And this now allows me to go for the heavy interlocking, right? I needed a Rocket and a... I needed a Rocket and a Dark Link. So that's specifically why we ended up going for that line. Out comes the Fatal Flare, and now we also have that Rokket Banish that we can use with the Bestial Dispotter to go into Delirious. This is where I go Delirious. Now we get to pop the Delirious to bring back 2 guys off of Quad Moral, pitching our Rokket Loader. This also triggers the Delirious and summons the 2 bodies. Now we get to go into Boral End. Again, I kind of high-rolled my hand here, but nonetheless, out comes Boral End, target a guy, negate its effects, bring back Charger, and then we can go into another Link, or not another Link, we can go into Borreload Savage, equip it with the Quad Boral, have those 2 Omni Negates alongside Boral End, alongside Dispotter, and the Nibiru in hand. I don't know, that's pretty good. Especially through Droll. Droll is like one of the few cards that really hinders this deck. Alrighty, here we are once again going first. We're always going first. That's what we need. It's very helpful. That being said, you can still go second. I just didn't have any good duels with that. We're going to start off here with the Chaos Space. We're going to pitch the Saronir. Saronir is going to send to the graveyard the other guy. And then out comes our Wyvern Burster, Collapse Serpent, Striker Dragon. Out comes Maxi. Hooray. Well, let's see what we can accomplish here. Out comes our own Loader. We're going to then activate its effect in order to search out the Absorouter, summon out the Absorouter, and out comes Perulia. Oh, cool. Here's the thing. We have to play into the Perulia. And I'm going to end on 1 card on field, hopefully drawing my opponent the maximum amount of cards so that they put them all back, or put as many as I can back. I'm obviously, like, I could have just, like, passed on SP or something like that, but Boral End is a powerhouse, and I'm going to make Boral End. This also allows us to grab the Reboot. Now we go for the Chaos Space. They elect to Ash here, sure. It doesn't really matter. Link off into Pisty. Activate the effect to grab up the Wyvern Burster, activate the Pisty effect, bring back the Saronir, and then we can link off into Delirious, just as additional follow-up, grab up the Rokket Tracer, and then link all of those off into Boral End. Now they're going to put back as many cards as, well, they're going to put back until they have exactly 7. They have 7 cards in hand now. They have to beat the Boral End and the Boral Reboot, and that's it. And it's the mirror match. Whoa, crazy. Now here's the thing. There is not ineffective out to Boral End in this deck, because pretty much whatever they do, I could just be like, nuh-uh. Any of their threats, I just, nuh-uh. Boral End does not out Boral End because Boral End targets, which is very funny, and Boral End has target protection. So, it's pretty funny. They're going to keep clicking buttons. By the way, they've already messed up. They just already messed up. Doesn't matter at this point. The thing that you kind of have to go for here is you need to go for Boral Shroud, and you need to go for a Savage Dragon. Although, to be fair, Savage Dragon doesn't out this. Again, this card basically has like 1 out, and it's Boral Shroud. So, out comes the Triss Boral. Activate the effect of the Triss Boral. Add the double interlock. I'm like, sure. No. They do activate this, and I go, no. Out comes Boral End. Sure, fine. Activate the Boral Regenerator. Sure, fine. Activate the other effect to negate the Triss Boral. Sure, fine. All good. Cool. Out comes the Boral Shroud. Now, here's the thing. They can immediately activate the effect of the Boral Shroud, and I can't do anything about it. They have the Rokket on field. They activate the Boral Shroud before passing priority back to me, and I die. Because they negate, and then they destroy the card, and then they go Boral End, attack, destroy, Boral Shroud summon during combat phase, the Boral Sword, and attack. Lethal. Done. Dusted. I can't do anything about that. Cool. However, they immediately attempt to go battle, which is incorrect. That is not what you are supposed to do, and it ends up costing them. To be fair, I also kind of passed priority there for them to go to battle. But alas, immediately as soon as I got priority, I should have activated the Boral End, because again, for some reason, you can't interact with these effects. I don't know why, but alas, you can't. I had the Noctivision here. Doesn't really matter. They're gonna crash. Cool. Pass the turn. Awesome. They have, technically, nothing here. Right? Boral Shroud is negated. Boral End is fine, but it's not that big of a deal, and I immediately elect to negate the Rokket Tracer. So, alas, at this point, the game is pretty much mine. They have 1 negate, and I have a million ways to interact with them, and a million, like, bodies. To be fair, again, there's not a very effective way to deal with Boral Shroud, except for the fact that I can do my own Boral Shroud. So, yeah, immediately before priority passes back to them, I go for the Boral Shroud Dragon here. Now, to be fair, I think I actually was mistaken by activating the Noctivision. If I activate the Noctivision, I think I give them priority. So, oopsie poopsie, shouldn't have done that. To be fair, they didn't elect to negate. Imagine if they did. Could have been a problem. It's fine. Anyway, we're going to summon out a whole bunch of guys. And then at this point, we just go combat. They are negated. Can't do anything. Go to combat. Walk over the field. Boral End cannot be destroyed by card effect, nor battle. So, to be fair, at the very least, at the end, if they had negated my Boral Shroud, I would have walked over the field, and we would have kind of just stared at each other with our big Boral Ends that don't really have effective outs. So, oopsie poopsie. Nonetheless, yeah, Boral End is a powerhouse. And once again, Maxi, hooray. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is extremely fun. Yeah, I've always liked Dragon Link. Dragon Link is probably the best combo deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! When it comes to actually doing what a combo deck sets out to do, which is make extremely powerful end boards, but also give you a varied line of play. There's a bunch of different things that you can do utilizing the various different dragon subtype, and just make a wider range of different boards, go through a myriad of different lines, and sure, most of them kind of coalesce on Boral End or Boral Shroud, but for the most part, it's still incredibly powerful and is a really, really fun deck. There's so many different lines of play that you get because of the various different dragon archetypes and different, lights and darks and chaos typings and all of that stuff. It's very fun, very loose in each individual combo. And it kind of rewards you for understanding what each card does and its totality of effects, right? Like knowing that Striker Dragon doesn't just search Boot Sector Launch, but also has the ability to pop itself to add back that Rokket is very important. The additional like chaining of Boral Shroud and Boral End and the way that those work because they stop the chain immediately and stuff like that. It's very useful, very fun, and I really do enjoy this deck. That being said, how good is it? It's great. It's actually really, really solid. I think it is a little bit slept on. It has a lot of game to a lot of decks. The biggest problem with this deck is the common hand traps that exist. Notably, Fua, Maxi, Nibiru, Droll. These are big problems for the archetype. Yes, there are ways that you can play around each and every one of them, but they are not 100% guaranteed, right? You can play around things like Nibiru with things like Seal or Shroud or what have you. You can play around Droll by just kind of still making a Boral End, right? There's a bunch of different ways to get into that, even without Droll. Or even through Droll, right? You can still play into Fualos and Maxi by, making more of a half board or whatever it may be, right? That being said, it's still kind of a problem to play into those boards, and to play into established boards as well, like Canine Vanquish Soul or whatever it may be. It's still difficult to push through those end boards nonetheless. However, again, thanks to the power of Boral End and some of these other cards, at the very least you can push through and then establish a very strong board, and even as you saw, depending on, regardless of how many cards the opponent has, they still have to find an out to that Boral End, or to a Boral Shroud, or whatever it may be, which is very nice. So, all in all, still a fun deck. I really enjoy it, and it works really, really well. That's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.